Hello and Happy New Year. I'm Emma from Balance Works Yoga. Thank you for joining me for the first video to accompany the 6-week yoga course that I've just started this term. Really excited about the journey we're going to go on as we learn more. And I'm glad that you're able to access this video at home so you don't miss out on a week. But it's great to be able to do the live classes and also record them so everybody can keep up with different things. So yeah, it's the first video I've done, so bear with me if something doesn't go quite to plan. I've got my notes here as usual. But yeah, hopefully you found a nice space somewhere at home where you can roll a mat out. You may or may not need a block like we normally do in class. If you don't have one to hand, then a book or anything, a box or something that you can use to help when we're reaching down. We're not going to use it too much today, but you know, everybody's different, so it's good to have that or any other props that you might want to use. We've got a slightly different session to start us off this new year, and because it is the new year, I think it's nice to spend a bit of time honouring that, and because it is quite a poignant time for some people, a time of transition, and we're going to do a bit of reflecting and maybe setting some intentions towards the end. So I have separated the class, the session, into body and mind and soul, different sections. And so we'll start with the body portion, which is the yoga. I've got a mic as well, so I keep on knocking it, so sorry about that. Yeah, nice little heat building yoga session, and we'll have a nice stretch out. It's what we need after Christmas. And then we'll move into the mind section of the practice, which will be time to reflect, maybe do a bit of journaling. So if you want to pause at that point and grab a bit of pen and paper or a journal, if you have one already, then that might be something nice to do. Or you can just, you know, have it all in your head and just do a little bit of reflection and thinking up there in our minds. I'll have a little mantra as well at that point that you're welcome to join in with, and or not. And then we'll finish with a nice soul part, the restful end of the practice, where we'll do a bit of meditation as we maybe think about how we can use our reflections to set some intentions for the year ahead. So there we have it. We are going to get straight in and start on our backs. So get comfortable on your mat, and we just need a nice little stretch out, I think, to begin with. So we're just going to lie flat, extend the legs, maybe extend the arms above our heads, and just have a nice big stretch out. Might not have even done this for the last couple of weeks. So deep breath, and just reach the fingertips, reach the toes. Find a nice little stretch here, maybe pushing the heel away one at a time. Move the block. And then we're going to hug our knees in, just have a little rock and massage of the lower back. Just connecting with our bodies, that's what the first section is about. And yeah, getting our minds in the right place, becoming present and tuning in. So hugging the knees in here, maybe a few circles or rocking from side to side. Nice long neck. And then we're going to bring our feet down to the floor and bring the arms out to the side or wherever they want to come. You can even bring them behind your head if you like. Just find something that feels good for you and just allow the knees to fall to either side, just dropping them wherever they want to go, both to the right and then slowly both to the left, feeling a little twist and just noticing the feeling of what that feels like in your back. Trying to keep your shoulder blades nestled into the ground. So just a lovely twist, maybe just leaving them on one side. Maybe bringing the opposite arm out and taking our gaze down those fingertips. Big breath through the side body. And then inhale, come back to center, take the knees to the other side. Right arm out. Take your gaze down the opposite fingertips. And then come back to center. Just going to bring the arms up in the air and do a few wrist circles, warming up our fingers, our hands, our wrists. And we can send up one leg at a time, maybe warm up the ankles and toes at the same time. And if you can either do each leg separately or you can get them both up in the air, a little bit like our upside down bug warm up, which is quite nice and freeing, with our back nestled into the ground, but just having a little shake, a little wiggle, point and flex, warming up hands and feet. Lovely. Okay, so here we can either sort of rock our way up to seated, or you might want to just get up to seated however you like. In fact, we're going to come straight round into a child's pose. So we're going to just take a moment in child's pose before we start moving into the heat building section. So big toes together, knees nice and wide, and just walk the hands forwards. Take an inhale and exhale, melt the chest down, and you can bring the forehead to the ground, or you can use the block if that's better, or a book or a blanket or a cushion, whatever you've got to hand, or even using your hands as a support here. And just take a moment if you need to add any movement. Take some deep breaths. Taking a moment to arrive in the present moment. Inhaling into this new year, January 2025. Exhaling, letting go of any tension. Trying to relax the muscles a bit. And also exhaling, letting go of anything that you want to leave behind from the last year. And just taking a moment here to have a little think about the last year. What's the first thing that comes into your mind? And just to hold space for it without judging. Keep taking nice deep breaths. And then on the next inhale, slide the hands under your shoulders. We're going to bring the knees in a little bit here and walk our hands forward, coming into a tabletop position. And starting a little bit of cat-cow here, so lower the belly, inhale, allow the chest, maybe the head to lift, squeezing the shoulders, and exhale, squeeze the air out, draw the navel in, tuck the tailbone, head comes down, but whatever movement feels okay for you at this point, just checking in with your spine. At whatever point you're doing this, it might be the first bit of cat-cow you've done for a few weeks, so don't force it, just check in with it. Use the breath. And just notice. Okay, back to a neutral spine. We're just going to take the left knee and just begin to draw some circles. So beginning to rotate the hips slightly here, in whichever direction feels good for you. Trying to keep shoulders stacked over wrists, gaze forwards, and then opposite direction. And then the other leg. Drawing circles, don't have to be too big. Checking in with your hip. Other direction. Okay, and then we're going to bring our left knee up and the right arm out into sort of like a cactus shape, and then exhale, bring them together. Inhale to open, exhale together. So, looks like this. But again, don't force it, it doesn't have to be too high. It's called fire hydrant exercise, this one. I wonder if you can work out why. So opposite side now, so we're going to lift up the right leg, or whichever one you haven't already done, and the left arm, and draw them together. Inhale. Trying to focus on your balance here. Activating the core. Using the breath. Lovely. Replace your hand and knee back down. We're just going to go into a little bit of bird dog. So we're going to send the left foot backwards, the right arm forwards if you like. Maybe lift the left toes off the ground. Reach and inhale. Again, activate the core. And then exhale, draw knee to elbow, or in that direction, doesn't have to touch. Gaze between your hands, nice long back. Inhale to reach. Exhale to squeeze in. But you can always have your toes on the ground, and maybe even just don't put your hand in. Whatever's feeling okay for you this morning, or whenever you're doing this. And the opposite side, so right foot backwards, left arm out, reach, maybe lift the toes up, draw the navel in. Inhale, exhale, squeeze. Should be building up a bit of heat now. And then replace them down. Just going to sit back on our heels for a moment if that feels okay for you. Roll the shoulders, relax the wrists. Roll things out. If it's not, of course, you can always kneel upright, or maybe tuck your toes. Whatever kneeling position feels okay for you. Shake things out. Okay, bring the hands forwards a little bit. We're going to go into down dog. So tuck the toes, spread the fingertips. And then lift the knees slowly, just coming into our first downward dog, so keep them nice and bent, drawing the hips backwards. And then keeping our belly nice and low, just trying to be nice and long in the back. Relax the neck, and maybe extend one leg and then the other, just pedaling, bringing the heel a bit closer to the ground. Again, just finding your own way in down dog to stretch the back of the body. Trying to use the breath just to melt the belly down a little bit further, the chest down. Adding lots of movement to begin with. I'm going to take 3 cleansing breaths here. So we're going to take a deep inhale and a big sigh it out through the mouth. And again, inhale. Sigh it out. One more. Walk the feet slightly closer together. Inhale, lift the right foot up in the air and just reach up wherever it wants to go. Doesn't have to be too high, whatever feels good. Just trying to keep your hips square. Inhale, reach. Exhale, draw the knee in towards the elbow. And then inhale to reach up again. Exhale, draw it in. Maybe come forwards into a bit of a plank here. Inhale to extend. One more. Exhale. Inhale, and this time we're going to bring the knee forwards, look forwards, and help the foot come through, lower the back knee and come into a low lunge. So once you're there, you might want your fingertips down the ground, maybe a little bit of a rock backwards and forwards just to have a little stretch on the hamstring here. And then we're going to bring our hands to our knee and just check in that we're nice and upright here, pressing down with the tops of our feet. And then we're going to bring the arms out to the side. Inhale, all the way up. Maybe your hands will close, maybe they'll just be apart here. And you can add a little back bend if that feels okay, a little crescent lunge. Inhale to reach. Exhale, catch the arms, squeeze the shoulders, open the chest. and bring the hands back down. We're going to step the right foot back into plank here, either a full plank or a half plank. You find what feels okay for you today. Spread the fingertips, drawing the navel in, and just holding it for a couple of breaths wherever you are. Nice long back, long neck. Before bringing our knees, chest, rippling our bellies down to the mat. Hopefully the microphone's okay still. And coming onto our forearms into Sphinx pose if that feels okay. So taking a couple of breaths here in this heart opening position and just connecting with the ground, especially with the tops of our feet pressing down to the ground, our pelvis. Really connect down with the mat and your forearms and your hands, making sure your elbows are underneath your shoulders. And just take a couple of breaths here. If you're not comfortable here, you can always widen the elbows and come down a bit lower, finding just a back bend to suit you today. And just take a moment to invite a bit of love for yourself here. That's what we try and do with heart openers. Really open the heart, tapping into empathy, compassion. And just again, as you think over the past year and everything that you overcame and went through, just honouring that a little bit, recognising it. And then when you're ready, just widen the elbows, lower down slightly, bring the hands under your shoulders, tuck the toes. We're going to push ourselves slowly up back into downward facing dog. So get your hands in a nice spread out position, bring them back a little bit, lift up the knees, lower the belly, lower the chest, pedal the legs if you need to. Couple of breaths. Bring the feet close together. Inhale, lift the left leg this time. Three-legged dog. Keep the hips square. Inhale, reach. Exhale, draw the knee in towards your left elbow, maybe coming to a bit of a plank here. And then inhale to lift back up. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, three-legged dog. Nice little warm up, very hip building this, and really good one for balance. On the next one, we're going to bring the knee through and help step the foot through between our hands, lower the back knee, coming into a low lunge. Again, little rock backwards and forwards here, if that feels good. If not, we'll just come straight up to our knee, a nice upright position, roll the shoulders, just check nice alignment here, we're not collapsing. Inhale, bring the arms out to the side, all the way up. Maybe hands will touch, maybe not. Inhale, reach. Exhale, cactus the arms, squeeze the shoulder blades, open the chest. Inhale and exhale. Bring the hands back down. We're going to step the left foot back to join the other one in a plank, full plank or half, you choose, whichever it is. Just hollow the front body out here, just trying to be nice and activated all the way through, drawing the navel in, nice and strong, strong, strong. One more breath. And then bring the knees, chest, and ripple the belly down, coming into Sphinx pose. If you prefer to be in a different back bend at this point, you choose, or come a little bit lower down if that feels better on your back. All sorts of variations. Really important to tune in to what feels okay for you today. And it might be different to how you were before you were doing yoga before Christmas. So just really tuning in with our bodies today, that's what we're doing. And again, just taking a moment to invite love for yourself here and for others around you. And then slowly widen the elbows, bring the hands underneath the shoulders, and then push back into our downward facing dog. Pedal the legs. And then we're going to inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, we're going to draw it in, look ahead and bring our foot forwards and come into a high lunge this time. So just checking ourselves in this high lunge position. You might want to just adjust your feet maybe bending in the back leg a little bit here. We're going to bring the arms, going to bring our hands to our hips and just check we're nicely aligned in this position, and keeping our right hand on our right hip. We're going to bring the left arm out the side and find a little side bend here, reaching up. And then exhale, bring it down. We're going to step the back leg in now, coming up to Tadasana, to mountain pose, and find a little tree pose with the left leg. So grounding down with the right leg and coming into tree pose. You can either just keep the toes on the mat, opening the hips here, tucking the tailbone under. Find whatever tree feels good for you. So could be toes on the ground. You could slide the foot up the calf. You can do whatever you like with the hands. Find a focal point. Did a lot of tree pose last term, so hopefully you can find one that suits you and what suits you particularly today. Don't always manage to get my leg up high, but it's working today, so I'm going with it. And again, finding whatever you want to do with the hands. Maybe they come up high. Maybe you want to add a little bit of movement. If that's too challenging, you can bring them back down. There's so many different variations with tree pose, but if you are high here, as long as you're not on the knee joint, then you can really try and keep the stability by pushing the supporting leg to the foot. Take a couple of moments here to find whatever tree is working with you today. Find a little bit of balance. And then relax back down. We're going to inhale, bring the arms all the way up. Maybe come up onto our toes a little bit here and then come down. And again, one more on our toes. And down. See if you can stay a little bit longer this time on our toes. Good toe strengthener, and then back down again. Shake things out. And going to inhale, bring the arms above our hands above our head, and then exhale, bring them behind us so we can find our lower back, maybe interlacing the fingertips behind, opening the heart again here, lots of heart openers today. And then exhale, we're going to fold forwards gently, allowing the hands to rise up, bending the knees as much as we need to here, finding this fold, and using the hands to really squeeze the shoulders. And then when you're ready, relax the hands, bring them down to the mat. Then we're going to widen the feet here and send the toes out and lower ourselves down into whatever yogi squat you can manage today, malasana. So you might be able to come straight into a yogi squat, or you might want to just add lots of movement, or you might want to hold on to a block. So if this is where we're at the moment, that's all good. Just as long as we're getting our bodies beginning to think about going a bit deeper into the squat, just easing yourself in. Sometimes it's nice to add a little side stretch, opening up our hips. Or just find a balance, maybe coming into prayer pose. Heels do not have to be down to the ground. Take one more moment. And then bring the hands to the ground. We're going to step our feet back into a downward dog again, where we started. Stretch the hamstrings out, the back of the legs. Take a breath. And make sure the feet are nice and close together. And we're just going to inhale, lift the left leg in the air this time, reaching up. And then exhale, we're going to draw the foot in and come into our high lunge. So inhale all the way up. And just make sure you're stable. Take a moment to get your feet stable. Maybe tucking the tailbone up slightly here, drawing the navel in. Maybe a little bend in that back knee, the right knee this time. And bring your hands to your hips. And this time we're going to keep the left hand on the hip. We're going to take the right hand up and over to find a little side bend, reach up, maybe just opening, drawing the shoulder back a little bit here as well. See how that feels. Take a deep breath into that rib cage, side of the rib cage. Reach, reach, reach. And then exhale, bring it back down. We're going to step the back foot in, coming to Tadasana, and shake things out a little bit at the top here. And then we're going to find tree pose on the other side. This time that's our right leg coming out, and you can either just take a time to find a focal point. I'll face you on the other leg this time. So you might just want to have toes on the ground. That might be enough today, a nice balance. When we're in tree pose, often think about the phrase root to rise, using your roots to rise up. I've got all these different opposites and different balances in yoga, like the yin and the yang. And the thera, the sukha, I've mentioned that before as well, when we're really trying to root down and find our roots and things that you support us, maybe things that ground us, especially over the last year, what has been your support. Use that to root down and feel strong down here, and then rise up using the things that support us, things that root us, to rise up, using that energy to feel strong and stable in our lives. So a bit of a metaphor there. So find whichever version of tree pose feels good. Squeezing the foot and the supporting leg together wherever you are. Nice active core and glutes, but try and nice and relaxed at the top. One more breath wherever you are. And then relax, lovely, shake things out. Going to bring the arms up above again, and we're going to bring them wide and find our fingertips, interlace our fingertips behind our back here, and come into our fold. Release the hands. And then we're going to step back into downward dog. One more little move for this heat building section today. Going to bring the right leg up into three-legged dog one more time. Inhale. And then we're going to exhale. We're going to bring that knee in, but this time bring the right foot to the left-hand side of the mat and extend the left foot back, a bit far back on my mat. I'm going to shuffle forwards and come into pigeon. So we're going to find a pigeon pose here, taking a moment just to get comfortable, to adjust. Maybe you can shuffle that right foot up the mat a little bit. But if you start to fall onto your right glute, then just bring it back down a little bit so we're nice and square and the weight is evenly distributed through our hips. And try and send that left leg back, point the toes backwards, and find an upright pigeon for a moment if you can, if that's okay in your back. Take an inhale, and then whenever you're ready, just exhale and begin to walk yourself down, maybe to your forearms, using the breath here just to breathe into the stretch. Maybe come down, forehead to your hands as a little pillow, or again you can use that block. Or you can use cushions, you can prop yourself up, you can always put something underneath your right butt cheek as well to support that. So just play around with it. It's good when you're doing yoga at home to have access to lots of cushions and blankets and things, to make poses like this feel good. You may have slight discomfort, and you can breathe through that discomfort. If you've got pain, however, just ease out of it. You don't have to come into it as much. You can even just come out of it completely and send the bent leg backwards. But just find what feels okay for you and take a couple of breaths here. We're going to actually take 5 or 6 breaths here, melting down, relaxing the upper body. As we think over the past year, the highs and lows, things that challenged us, things where we were our happiest. Whatever it is, it's all good. You got through it, and here is the fresh new year. Or we can try and use the past year to choose how we move through this year. One more breath. And then slowly, use your hands to support yourself back up to an upright position. Instead of going back into downward dog, we're going to come onto our right glute now and sweep the left leg forwards, tucking our right foot in slightly here, and then bringing the left foot, hugging the left knee in here. You can either keep the left foot this side of your right knee, or you can hook it round, so we're getting a deeper twist here. See what feels okay for you, but hugging it in and sitting up nice and tall, squeezing the shoulders, rolling the shoulders, maybe taking the right hand, wrapping the right arm around, hand or forearm, whatever feels okay for you, and taking the left fingertips behind. Inhale, draw in the lower belly, try not to round the back. Inhale to sit tall, exhale, maybe an extra little twist, as long as you don't collapse. One more breath. And then release. We're going to send the legs backwards and do that same little sequence on the other side. So tuck the toes back into a down dog just to stretch the body out. Feel the stretch in the back and the legs. Bring the feet together, lift the, which one are we going with now? We're going with, which one did we do? The left leg. The left leg in the air, whichever one you didn't do before. Inhale, reach, exhale, draw the knee in. Bring the left foot to the right side of the mat and shuffle yourself into pigeon, sending the right leg backwards and adjusting yourself, finding a comfortable position here. Deeper stretch, you can bring the right foot slightly higher, but if you start to collapse down, then just tuck it in a bit more. Inhale, see if you can puff the chest out like a pigeon. And then exhale, start to fold. Just take it gently, use the breath. A little bit deeper if it feels okay, and using whatever props you like. Taking 6 breaths here, and again, using that breath to bring you in the present moment. Or to have a little scan back over the last year and remind yourself of things that you've learnt from. Maybe there's been some change last year. Changes are often good periods of growth for us. Maybe you had a fantastic year, maybe a challenging one. Whatever it is, it's all fine, it's all good. We're just holding space for it. One more breath. And slowly support your hands upwards. We're going to come onto our left butt cheek now, or left glute, sorry, and then swing the right leg forwards, hooking it round and hugging it in, or just having it here, finding a twist. That's a seated half Lord of the Fishes position, it's called. Hugging the knee in and feeling nice and tall, drawing the shoulders back. Maybe wrapping the left arm around the right knee and sending the right fingertips backwards. Inhale to lift. Draw the navel in. Exhale. Inhale, think tall. Exhale, soften. Okay, and release. So just send the legs out for a moment and give them a nice little relax and stretch and whatever you need to do. We're just slowing down and finishing the body, the yoga section of today's practice, and we will be doing the mind portion now. So if you did want to get any pen or paper, this would be now time to pause. Okay, so we're ready for the mind portion of the session today. I'm going to start by just making sure we're comfortable, so you can sit, lie, whatever, in whatever way is comfortable for you, so you don't have to stay cross-legged, just do what's comfortable for you. And just whenever you're comfortable, or on a block or a cushion or anything, then just going to take a couple of breaths to ground ourselves and tune ourselves in. Relaxing the shoulders. And I'm going to just sing a Gayatri mantra, a very old mantra that I've chosen to just really tune ourselves in and try to connect us with the nature around us. Sorry, the dog's moving. And this mantra is often used as a request for clarity in our minds and asking the forces of nature, the sun, and the air and the earth, all the elements, to bring us clear minds. So the translation is the eternal earth, air, heaven, that glory, that resplendence of the sun. May we contemplate the brilliance of that light. May the sun inspire our minds. And it goes like this. Om Bhuvah Svaha Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. I'll repeat it one more time. Om Bhuvah Svaha Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. So at this point, when we're nice and centered, you might want to close your eyes. You might even want a focal point of a candle or something. Get yourself tuned in so you can have a little reflection on the past year that has been. And just trying to relax in the shoulders, in the mind, in the forehead, the jaw. Taking ourselves back through the different times that you've been through. Maybe what's one thing that comes up in your mind when you think of the last year? Or you can answer the following questions. Think about the people you spent time with. How do these people make you feel? And do you want to continue spending time with them in the year to come? Did you learn anything new over the last year or improve on any existing skills? Did you spend time looking after yourself as well as others? What did you find most challenging? Where were you at your happiest? What are you most proud of? And what are you most grateful for? So it's not always an easy process to reflect. Your brain might be full or bogged down with all sorts of information from the last year. But try and maybe take one piece of meaning, something that's just resonating with you as you think and reflect right now from the last year, Often our bodies try and tell us something, and we have that inner voice, that inner wisdom. So beginning to think about how we can use our reflections to set an intention for the year ahead. And an intention is different to a resolution or a goal or things like that that often people set at this time of year. Intentions are not results driven or success driven or achievable even. They're not measurable. They're more about a loving commitment to ourselves, about the way we are, connecting with our values and the kind of person we want to be more of. So that's more of the intention rather than setting yourself a goal, which is great to do as well, but it's very different. So maybe something is coming into your mind now. And I'll just give you another couple of moments to have a think about what is coming to mind as an intention, maybe. Maybe you have something clear. And if something isn't coming to mind, that's fine as well. You might want to come back to this another time, maybe do a bit more journaling or spend some time just processing through your thoughts to come up with, and it might hit you at a different point later on in the day. But I've got some ideas of ones that are often used as examples. I intend to show love and compassion to those around me. I intend to let go of what no longer serves me. I intend to connect more with people around me. I intend to embrace myself as I am. It's a good one for me. Intend to surrender the things I cannot control. I intend to trust my path to unfold as it's meant to. I intend to be open to new things, feelings, activities. I intend to be authentic and true to myself. I intend to be grateful for what I have. I intend to put in the effort and let go of the outcome. Just a few of many different ideas. But just take a moment, just sit with the intention that's come to you, if it has, and if it hasn't, just keep thinking through things, considering some of those things, coming back to the one that resonates most with you, and trust it. Maybe repeat it a few times in your head. You can always shorten it to one word as well. So if your intention is to connect more with nature, the word could just be nature. If your intention is to surrender the things you don't have control of, just have the word surrender. And we're now going to move into the soul part of the practice, where we can get ourselves comfortable lying down, comfortable and cozy. So you might want to put another layer on, or a blanket or a cushion. Hopefully you've got lots of those sorts of things around you at home, and just lie down in a comfortable position where you can fully relax as we try to bring our intention into our being. So lie down in a comfortable position. Your knees can be bent or your legs can be long. As I said, spend this time getting comfortable, getting any cushions or extra layers on if you're a bit chilly, so that you don't have those sorts of distractions. You can just fully relax and focus on this intention. think for a moment about what sort of person you want to be in 2025, looking ahead to the year ahead. So whereas we normally go in Shavasana and meditation, often try to empty our thoughts, I'm asking you today to maybe listen to my voice a bit and meditate and activate the thoughts into the coming year. Maybe visualize them, bring them to life. So think in 2025, what does your body need? In 2025, what does your mind need? In 2025, what does your soul need? And whatever you answer to those questions, maybe you can see if they have anything in common. Use that as your intention, maybe a little mantra to yourself that you can repeat in your mind's eye. And maybe visualize what that intention looks like. And what that intention feels like. And maybe how you can remind yourself of it. How you can connect to it in the following weeks and months. Maybe even later today. Bring it into being. Just going to take a deep inhale. Longer exhale. You can of course stay in Shavasana for as long as you like and stay with this intention in your mind and in your heart as much as you like. But we're going to just end the practice here. Maybe just invite a little bit of movement gently. Hug the knees in or have a little stretch. Have a little rock gently from side to side. And slowly bring yourself up to a seated position, whatever that is. And just take a moment just to remind ourselves of the phrase, the intention, or it could be a word that has captured your thoughts and feelings today. You can keep your eyes closed if that's okay with you. And if you don't have anything in mind, again, don't worry, something might crop up over the next few days. If you do have your word, we're going to bring our hands to our hearts. And we're going to set our intentions together, chanting Om. So we're going to take a deep inhale. And we finish today. Hopefully you've now brought your intention into your being. There's no need to hold it too tight, but just try and find some opportunities to connect with it and act upon it whenever an opportunity presents itself to you. Some ways to nurture it might be to start some journaling, meditation, yoga, any mindful walks, or connecting with people around you. So I hope you enjoyed today's practice. Again, any feedback or any comments would be really, really useful. And I can't wait to see you either in person or next week for the next part of our course. We're really going to be thinking about how we can use our intentions, but also let go of ourselves a little bit and begin to let go of our egos and invite that into our practice as well. So thank you very much. Have a lovely rest of your day. Namaste.